नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल, राम राम साहब, हमारी वणक्कम प्रणाम। आप सभी को ऑर्गेनाइज मीडिया में फिर से स्वागत है। हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं पीवीआर नरसिम्हा राव सर, ऑथर, इंजीनियर, एस्ट्रोलॉजर, और हम रेगुलर शोज करते रहे हैं। एंड आई विल टेक द क्रेडिट टुडे। जब मैंने और पेरियाना ने, आई कॉल प्यार से भी पेरियाना बुलाते हैं, जब मैंने और पेरियाना ने हमने शो किया, उसके बाद सभी पॉलिटिकल चैनल से एस्ट्रोलॉजी के शो करने लगे। देखिए, मैं लीड का क्रेडिट ले रही हूँ, मैं ये नहीं कह रही हूँ कि कोई कॉपी करे, बट यस, वी आर द torch bearers or leaders in certain domains in our own way. Thank you, Periana, for joining us once again.
Namaste. Namaste, Gayatri ji, and namaskar to all your audience.
Thank you, Periana. Periana, I am very, very curious about Mamata Banerjee. What does her Kundali say? We discussed Kejriwal, and as you predicted, Kejriwal is gone for a long time. And we still see that Amit Shah, PM Modi, they making sure that he doesn't come back to Delhi at any cost. Similarly, Mamata Banerjee. Mamata Banerjee has been a ruthless politician. If I talk about her public persona, she is too much into like, मतलब वो छोटी छोटी बातें तुनक जाती हैं। किसी ने कार्टून बना दिया तो पुलिस स्टेशन भिजवा देती। So she is very sensitive also, I would say emotional also, because these are signs of a sensitive person, and ruthless in her own way. Publicly, we have seen how she compromised on probably her ideologies, because there is one video which I've quoted earlier also. There was one point of time she cried in parliament because during the Manmohan Singh government that Bangladeshis are coming to the West Bengal and they must stop it. They are infiltrating, and people joked on her. I think that was a turning point in her career where she made a friendship with the devils in order to be in power. But I mean, you can see her Kundli because you have small bits and pieces. We mentioned earlier also a few things, but would like to know more in detail today. A very warm welcome on the show.
Thank you. Yeah, so today we'll focus on Mrs. Mamata Banerjee, Srimati Mamata. Actually, she's not Mrs., right? She's not married. Mamata Banerjee's chart, she has Makar Lagna. See, actually, her date of birth is very controversial. There are different years, different dates given by people, and I see that this is the thing. Some astrologers, some politicians, they intentionally put out wrong data to mislead astrologers and others who may be doing some rituals against them, etc. So in her case, there's a lot of uncertainty about the data. But the thing is, there is one data that I found to be working pretty well. Basically, when I looked at it, I think in early 2021, before the state elections in West Bengal, I looked at various possible charts, and out of those, one of them actually explained her life, various events in her life, like in childhood and in political career, and how she rose. So that is the chart that I use. So that basically is 1955 January 5 morning chart around 7:20 a.m. So based on that chart, she has Makar Lagna. So Makar basically means Magar, crocodile. So Makar Lagna people tend to be very. See, you were talking about she changed her ideology, etc. Right? In general, they are not. They are very practical, pragmatic, and they are not really wedded to any particular ideology. There's nothing about ideology. So she's a Makar Lagna person. So her attitude is like a crocodile, basically. Very aggressive, but at the same time very patient and aggressive. But if she wants something, she will just get it patiently pursue it. So she has that perseverance and the ability to wait like crocodile. And then when crocodile bites an animal, it's basically such a powerful bite. So some of those qualities will express themselves in her personality. And now people may use Vimshottari Dasha in her chart. If they use Vimshottari Dasha, she is basically running from 2008 till 2027. She is running Sani Mahadasha. And Sani is a very powerful planet in her chart. He is Lagna Lord in the 10th house of career, exalted. So if that is the correct Dasha for her, till 2027 is a good time for her. But in my assessment, she has she basically has Saturn in the 10th house, but the thing is based on the houses, he's actually in the 11th house. So in a Kendra, the strongest planet is Jupiter in exaltation. So I use Taradasa from Jupiter. We can use either Taradasa from Jupiter or Saturn or just regular Vimshatri Dasa. So if I use Taradasa from Jupiter, which in my opinion is the best Dasa, most effective Dasa in her chart, then she's running Venus Dasa from 2004 till May 2024. She finished Venus Dasa in 2024 May. And this is a terrific Dasa for her because for Makar Lagna, Venus is his Yokarka. He is the fifth lord of fame and power and 10th lord of career. And also he is the dispositor of Saturn. I said that Saturn, the Lagna lord, is exalted. He's in Venus house. So Venus is like his landlord. So Venus is the planet who controls career as well as fame, and he's pretty strong in the chart. He's in the 11th house of gains, and he's aspecting the 5th house of power. So he's very important for power. So 2004 to 2024 is the period that is really positive for her. But unfortunately for her, the Dasha after Venus Dasha is Sun Dasha. And Sun is the eighth lord of fall, disappointment, setbacks, etc. And he's in the 12th house of losses. And he is afflicted by Rahu and Mercury. Mercury is okay, but Mercury is the 6th and 9th lord, but Rahu basically is the problem. So Sun is eclipsed. The 8th lord, Sun is very badly afflicted. He's eclipsed by Rahu and he's in the 12th house of loss. So this is not really a good period for her. So the good period that she has been running, which is conducive to having power, etc., got over last May. So from then onwards, she is basically vulnerable. And this is all based on the Rasi chart. There is another chart called Dasamsa chart, which is basically important for career. And based on that chart, in that chart, just the standard Vimshatri Dasya will work. And based on the Vimshatri Dasya of that chart, she was running Sanimaha Dasya till 2022 October. And Sani is a very good planet for her. He's the 10th lord of career. He's in the 3rd house of determination and basically is one of the 3 good houses for Saturn. So he's the 10th lord of career in the 3rd house of determination and initiative and energy and drive, etc. And in the Rashi chart, he's exalted basically in the on the border between 10th and 11th houses of career and gains. So Saturn is a very good planet for her. So this Sanimaha Dasha from 2003 October till 2022 October is a fantastic Dasha for her. But the thing is, in 2022 October, she finished Saturn Dasha and she started Mercury Dasha. And Mercury is not really a great planet for her in the Dasamsa chart. He's a Papagraha. He's a functional malefic. He's the 3rd and 6th lord. So basically, it's not really a great dasha for continuing power for her. It's not a terrible dasha, but it's not a great dasha. And in the Rashi chart, the Sun dasha that started in 2024 May is a terrible dasha. So combining both the Rashi and Dasamsa charts, the chart of overall existence and the chart of profession, combining both the charts, what we can say is from 2022, late 2022 onwards, some slowdown in her career is likely to have started, and there were some scandals and controversies and some problems. And particularly last May, when the Sandasha started, there was this big scandal about the doctors thing, basically the hospital scandal, and there were serious calls for dismissing her government and introducing president's rule in West Bengal. So that was basically last May, and now again, currently there are because of the Waqf Act amendment, there are some protests, and she's basically siding with people who want to create trouble and who want to persecute Hindus, and there's a lot of trouble going on in West Bengal, and Hindus are suffering greatly in West Bengal because, see, not all Muslims want problems, but the thing is, the few who want problems, she is encouraging them, she is provoking the Muslims, and even the peaceful Muslims, she is provoking, she and the other leaders are provoking. So they're creating a very volatile situation in West Bengal. Now, coming to the future, that next elections are in, I believe there should be 2026 April or May time frame. So the thing is, her terrible dasa has already started based on Rasi chart, and her good dasa has already given way to a not so great dasa in Dasamsa. And looking at the annual charts, the current annual chart is not bad. It's actually the chart that started in January 2025 is actually pretty decent for her. It shows some troubles and some tensions in the career, but the thing is, it can show hanging in there. This is not really a terrible dasa, terrible chart. But the solar and lunar annual charts of January 2026 are terrible for her. They very clearly show some kind of fall for her. If I look at the 2026 solar New Year chart, in that particular chart, I see that in the Dasamsa chart of career, I see that the ninth house of Bhagya has Shani, Rahu, and Mars, three papagrahas in the Bhagya. So it shows basically withdrawal of Bhagya. And the seventh lord Venus is in the eighth house, which is basically a Marka combination. It shows some kind of death-like situation in career because Dasamsa is the chart of career. And the tenth lord of career, Sun, is also in the eighth house. There are some positives also, but the thing is, these negatives can show big problem. And this is basically the solar New Year chart. If I look at the lunar New Year chart based on the tithi of birth, that is even worse. In the Dashamsha chart of career, I see a Amavasya Yoga, Sun and Moon are in Lagna, and they are eclipsed by Ketu. So Sun Moon Ketu combination in the Lagna, in Makar Lagna. So, and moreover, Sun and Moon happen to be 7th and 8th lords. So if they are together, that's a Marka combination. It shows some kind of death-like situation in career. And in the Rashi chart of lunar New Year chart, the eighth house has four grahas. Four planets are in the eighth house, including the fifth lord of power. So all these suggest that it's extremely unlikely for her to retain power in the next year's elections. So that is one thing I want to say confidently. Basically, the time of her fall has started a while back and it has intensified last year. But the thing is, based on the annual chart, this year may or may not be the year when she falls. But next year is really, really terrible for her. So one thing I can predict is that she is not going to be re-elected as the chief minister of West Bengal in spring 2026. She will lose, and I cannot yet predict that BJP will win. I'm not sure what the calculus will be because I haven't seen any BJP leader chart that has potential that I can say this person will be the chief minister. So I'm not sure who will be the chief minister. So, but Mamata Banerjee will not be the chief minister and she will fall. That is one thing I can say. And there are calls for installing president's rule and dismissing her right now. But the thing is, the current year's annual chart is not that bad. And the other chart I can use is the swearing in chart. In May 2021, when she took oath as the chief minister, we make a chart. So for things like government falling, the chart is really, really useful. So if I look at that chart, what we normally do in that chart is we basically find dasas. And normally Vimshotri Dasa is for 120 years, we compress it to 5 years. So whatever happens in 120 years will happen in 5 years. So basically each dasa will be short. So when we do that, basically the ups and downs within that particular term will be very clear. So when I do that, in her swearing in chart of 2021 May 5 morning, if I compress the Vimshotri Dasa to 5 years and find the Dasa in the Rashi chart, what I see is right now Sandasa is running from April 9 till July 11. Sandasa is running. Sun is the second lord. That technically makes me a marka, but he is exalted in the 10th house of power. So basically, it is unlikely that she will lose power in this time frame. So my guess is purely astrologically based on the swearing in chart, it is unlikely. I know that the governor has gone to the place where all these riots happened, all these killings happened, and he basically Mamata Banerjee did not want him to go today, but he still went there. So there is a lot of speculation that they will basically dismiss our government. But I suspect that's not the case. Basically, they will take a little more time. But the thing is, after July 11, from July 11 till December 11, those 5 months, Moon Dasha will be running. Moon is the Lagna Lord, and he's in the eighth house. So that's a eighth house is Manakarka Sthan for Moon. So, and he's also in an inimical house, not in a friendly house. So if there is a chance, it is after July basically. And moreover, from Mamata Banerjee's natal moon, so right now, Rahu and Saturn both are in the 11th house, which is actually pretty good. But Rahu will move into the 10th house later, and Mars Ketu will conjoin in Leo, and they will aspect the 10th house. So that Mars Ketu Rahu axis on the 10th house, that can cause some setbacks in career. So if she were to be dismissed after July, after mid July, basically July 11, after that is basically a better period. But the thing is, given that Moon is Lagna Lord, even though he's in Manakarka Sthan, because he's Lagna Lord, he may not give death. So it is possible that she doesn't, her government continues, but she's basically in a very weakened position. In other words, there may be more scandals or more bad news for her, and her position may weaken further. The government may be further weak after July 11th. But the thing is, my advice to the BJP government would be to not get rid of her now. If at all, maybe you can consider it after July 11 or July 15. Maybe you can consider. But the thing is, there's no need to get rid of her and create any sympathy for her in the elections. And if you were to do it, my suggestion is do it close to the elections. Don't do it basically far ahead of the election, because in spite of all these transient factors I mentioned, the current year is not a terrible year for her. It's a pretty decent year for her. But given that her good dashas are over, this above average year for her may still produce bad results. But the thing is, if you do it closer to January, closer to the birthday, closer to her birthday, because the next annual chart is really terrible for her, it will ensure that the sympathy will not develop for her. Suppose you do it in November, December time frame. Suppose something else comes up then, and you get rid of her in that time frame. Then basically, given that her terrible time is starting, the dashas are already bad, and the annual chart also is going to be bad from January 2026. So basically, no sympathy will develop, and she can be buried. So that would be the right strategy. Sometimes when people are suffering, the tendency is to basically act on it. But in the long term, basically for the long term well-being of West Bengal and Hindus of West Bengal, as well as all people of West Bengal. So
Please,
maybe
Terena, I remember
better.
one.
Go ahead.
One of our previous shows, you said she's reaping the benefits of her puja part. She is a very hard devotee of Ma Kali, and she does regular chants and everything. And that is that time also when we were discussing, you said some of her dashas were going bad, and she's surviving
Yeah.
because of those pujas only. Yeah.
That is correct. See, he is known to have an army of tantrics who are working around the clock for her and doing pujas for her. And I understand that she herself can do Chandi part, and various other pujas are being done on her behalf. Now the thing is, taking a step back from politics, some people may wonder, is it good karma for those tantrics to be engaging in this kind of pujas? The thing is, whenever you do puja for somebody, whether he's a good person or a bad person, whether he or she is a good person or a bad person, you incur some karma on account of it. And especially if you are helping a person who's doing a lot of harm to the world, it is even worse basically. And the thing is, God is not unfair, because certain rituals are basically guaranteed to give certain results when they are done in a particular way. And this is effectively a contract that God signed with a great yogi or rishi who created that procedure. God will honor that. See, in the old days, Rakshasas did tapascharya, and they got boons from Brahma, Shiva, etc. And they caused a lot of harm to the world. So it is just like that. So God has a plan in the long run. In the short term, by doing pujas, bad people may benefit, but eventually God will fix things. And any tantrics who are doing this kind of stuff, they will pay for this later. But the thing is, that is their problem. As far as people of West Bengal are concerned, what it means is, even in her bad time, she can prevail a bit. But the thing is, pujas cannot completely erase your karma. They cannot arrange strong prarabdha karma. And as I said, she is running. She started the eighth Lord Sun's Mahadasha in May 2024, and that basically the eighth Lord shows really serious prarabdha karma. And given that he is with Rahu, this is a really terrible dasha. So this kind of things you can delay a little bit. You can reduce the intensity a little bit through sadhana, but you can't completely erase it. So the thing is, it could have been that after 2022 October itself, she could have been in serious trouble and possibly even lost power. That was a possibility. Even though based on Rasi chart, her Yokarakas Dasha was still running. After 2022 October itself, she could have fallen. And particularly after May 2024, when the Rasi chart based Dasha also turned to a bad Dasha from a superb Dasha, she could have fallen last June, July time frame after last May when Sandasha started. She could have fallen, but the thing is, she's surviving a little bit more. She's basically still appears to be strong. So all this is because of the puja bal. But the thing is, it won't completely the Daivi bal won't completely protect her. It will She will face the results of her prarabdha. It's just a matter of time. And looking at various factors, the Rasi, Dashamsa, Dashas of both, annual chart, lunar, solar, looking at all the factors, the most likely period is next election time period. So my suggestion is, don't basically overdo things. Just wait for the right opportunity, and either let her continue as the chief minister, or take her out just before the elections or late this year, before her birthday, and then most importantly, basically ensure that elections are fair. That is the most important thing. So if there are any concerns that with her at the helm elections will not be fair, they can basically impose president's rule next year also after her birthday in January. That may be even better. But the thing is, apart from all this, one thing I can confidently declare is that she is extremely likely to lose next year's elections. Her the peak of her political prowess is about to end.
Very interesting, Periana. Going to keep my fingers crossed. I actually just invited Periana for West Bengal and Mamta prediction because Mamta has been a very intriguing figure for me. I've always been curious how come this. But now when you say Makar has its own traits. Capricorn जिसको इंग्लिश में कहते हैं, इसका एक अपना traits होता है because if you see they're very practical, they're cold, they don't have warmth.
Practical
10th
and
house,
tenacious, cold,
technician,
tenacious, practical. The
and
thing is,
very very
she also has
calculated.
Mars in the third house.
जी
And
करिए ना.
one more thing is, she has Mars in the third house of Parakram Sthan, basically.
हम्म.
जिनके चार्ट में मंगल पराक्रम स्थान में होता है, वो बहुत ही पराक्रमी होते हैं. They are very brave, bold, and they go for the kill. So that attitude is coupled with the Makar Lagna.
Yes, because I've had interaction with couple of Makar people, Capricorn people, and when you interact with them, no, you feel a certain level of coldness. They don't have warmth. They're very, very straightforward, very oriented, very detached. Like
Yeah,
they will not get emotionally attached with you. They're more objective oriented. They're objective oriented.
very practical. Yes,
So
yes. It's an
very
Atti
practical.
sign. Makar is an Atti sign, so basically they are very grounded and focused on what they want. But the thing is, just to be clear, there are certain macro qualities, but there are some Makar people who are really, really good also, because it depends on the rest of the chart also. But the thing is, in general, the qualities of Makar Lagna are tenacity, coldness, pragmatism. These are the basic qualities of a Makar Lagna person.
Recently I was talking to somebody and we happened to speak one thing, that it is directly opposite to the house or to the house home. 4 and 10, they are both opposite when you draw the, that Kundli chart. So one, when somebody has focus, they're totally home oriented. And totally opposite is the 10 number, the Capricorn Makar, and they totally outside oriented, work oriented, and career oriented. So it's a totally opposite signs that are placed together. Very interesting observations. Yeah. Thank you so much, Periana, for joining. जाने से पहले viewers the request है, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the alternate media and the channel of Periana also. I'll be putting, like last video, we have put it in the chat box. I'll pin it in the chat section so that you can visit directly from there. Also, he has a website on how to perform homes correctly, the Havan and homes at home correctly. That also you can visit from the link comment. Thank you so much once again. इसी के साथ जय हिंद, जय श्री राम, हर हर महादेव.
Jai Sri Ram, and hopefully people of West Bengal will get some relief soon. Jai Sri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. And Periana, your Hindi is very cute.
Thank you.
जी.